Now let's get to our stock debate of the day. United Spirits is the top loser today. The NSE has knocked out United Spirits from all of its indices, including, of course, the benchmark Nifty. This after some doubts emerged over the company's balance sheet and also because it wasn't able to file its earnings in time. Sajid first joins us with the details of why USL has been dislodged because they haven't filed earnings. The last earnings we saw come in from that company was for the quarter ended December 31st last year, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Why is USL unable to put its numbers out?
You know, Jajoo has been trying to get a grip of what USL is all about, because now they have a controlling stake there, and there is a detailed audit which is going on USL's balance sheet. The company has violated the listing agreement, and the listing agreement very categorically states, and the listing agreement has been there is a standard operating procedure which has been laid by the SEBI, which says that as soon as a company does not come out with the financials for 2 quarters, the company has to go into a trade, and following that with a penalty or then a suspension.
All that's fine and
that's
good.
All fine.
This is the shortest what a stock has been in the Nifty.
3 months.
3 months. That's because it got included along
March 38 is
with Tech Mahindra barely, exactly. 3 months ago, right? And now it's out.
March 28th is the day when it entered
Sajid,
Nifty.
more importantly, why is it that the company has not been able to file its earnings?
2 big things. The company has disclosed that it's trying to inquire about the 590 crores of receivables that it needs to get from distributors, trade debtors and all. The second thing is the 1350 crore loan which the company has given to UBHL, which is the holding company of Malia Group. That 1350 crore loan.
But both of these were items they cited for reasons for why they could not report their annual earnings, right? Since then, an entire quarter has come and gone, and they still have not been able to clarify just these 2 items.
So, that's what I want to ask you, since you track the law. So, what stops them from filing the earnings with no stock cons for this?
No, because they must not have notes, right? I mean, an auditor has to agree to sign off on something. They don't have enough information.
So even if the 4th quarter earnings are ready, the annual audited numbers for the FY14
till those don't come, you can't report the subsequent
balance sheet is ready for FY14, they can't come out with it. And since FY14 balance sheet is not ready, they can't come out with
these
quarter
are the 2 items that they cited for why they could not do the annual earnings.
So far.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying this is what they said, 5 months ago. They said we can't report annual earnings. March ended, FY14 earnings.
Is when they
and they've not been able to report 1st quarter earnings as well. So the last 3 months they've been investigating these 2 numbers.
Not just that, there is another disclosure of USL which they had done as part of the postal ballot to the shareholders, that they might have to take a hit of nearly 4,000 crores, which will take the entire net worth into negative. Now that's something again is under scrutiny by the auditors. Remember, the board of United Spirits is new. They don't want to take any risk. They want clarification and information on the table before they go ahead and clear the financials. So that's one of the reasons why it's taking some time. And I'm told that the board meeting is not going to happen for another 10 more days. So it will go into September.
All right. So that's the background as to why USL was knocked out of the Nifty. Now let's get to our stock debate. Should you dump your United Spirits stock? That's the question we're putting to both our experts in studio today. Jigar, Shah and Vishal Jajoo join in. Vishal, should you dump the stock?
I think so. I'm in favor of the fact that if you take all the factors into account, maybe macros, micros and the company specific things, and the things work out that one should basically, it has created one of the best wells for the industry. But I think the best time for this industry or for this sector and this particular company is out. The argument started with the fact that when Jajoo first was about to acquire United Spirits, and then the stock which was quoting in 3 digits went zoomed past 2,000 mark, 2,500 mark, and every third person on the street was saying that it would be a 5,000 rupee stock over the next 2 years. The argument was that Jajoo, when it operates in overseas, it operates at an EBITDA margin of 33%, and the United Spirits in India was operating at an EBITDA margin of 11%. So once Jajoo takes it over, there could be a 3-fold rise in its EBITDA levels. But the fact of the case is there are a lot of ifs and buts in that. As Sajid has mentioned, that there are 2 things which are being under debate. Question also arises with regard to the White and Mackay acquisition, how the accounting is to go through, and the question also arises that if 4,000 crore is the amount of hit that is being proposed upon, then one has to look at that this company, when it last reported its numbers, the 9-month sales were 9,000 crore. the PAT figure was 60 crore rupees. The debt in the books was, all these are standalone numbers which have been reported to the exchanges. The debt figure was 8,500 crore, and we are debating whether there could be a 4,000 crore hit coming or not. Now forget the stock getting excluded from the NSE or not, or whether this issue comes on or not. The fact that stock had already started falling out from its peaks even before this announcement came in. So once you have this one-offs coming and hitting it, whenever the numbers get into public domain, I think the figure or the impact would be much more disastrous than what it is or what we have seen till now.
Jigar?
My view is that United Spirits is the top of the alcohol beverage industry, now led by Diageo, and I think whatever they are doing with the cleaning up of the company has begun quite well. Although it is taking some time to get over, but it will ultimately drive out all those issues which have been there for a long time. Its board is reconstituted with some very eminent members, and it is rightly taking its own time. I think auditors are also being very clear that probably we do not want to take any chance. So when the next picture emerges, it will be very clear, and it will drive out whatever issues are there with the books. As far as investor is concerned, he is concerned with the future of the company, and he is concerned with the cash flow of the company, which I think is only going to improve from here, because you are slashing debt and
Yeah. I'd like to take that part up with you, Vishal, because two things that you mentioned. One, you said that the best time for the industry is over. How do you come to that conclusion? Because if you look at all parameters, whether per capita consumption, we are still very, very low. So why do you say that the best time for the industry is over? Because we look at as if we are at an inflection point, in fact, for the consumer cycle here. Two, the fact that, as Jigar points out, it's a new management. So why punish it for the past sins when you've got a new, more dynamic, hopefully a cleaner management in place?
See, coming to the volume growth part, whether you talk of globally or what is happening in the Indian markets, I think the volume growth over the last several quarters have been answering the fact that this industry has not at all been growing. Secondly, this has happened globally, this has happened in India. Secondly, the stock on one side has become grossly expensive because of the developments that were expected to happen. Now, coming to the part that the new management is taking over the charge, I think they will take their own set of time, because one cannot take away the fact that Mr. Mallya has created this empire right from scratch. He has created one of the best brands in this particular sector, but then at some point of time, because of valuations, because of what is happening globally, and the logic that we apply in case of cigarette industry, that in spite of the fact that you have 3 out of 5 union budgets hiking the duty, still the coinage or in terms of the change factor, the industry continues to do well in terms of EBITDA margins, in spite of the fact that number of sticks don't increase. But in case of liquor, that logic does not hold true.
Okay, Jigar, I want you to respond to that. I also want you to respond to the fact that, well, you might be saying that this is the end of the pain, but are you comfortable as an investor being faced with a 4,000 crore rupee write-off? Are you comfortable with the questions being raised about the amount of write-off on the White and McKay acquisition, which exceeds the amount of the acquisition in itself? So I'm just curious as to how you view all of this, even if this is a cleaning up, as you call it.
Yeah, well, Menka, it's very clear that after the money that United Spirits pumped in, Diageo pumped into United Spirits, also the sale of White and Mackay, and I think with the cleaning up, there will be cash. So I'm not worried about the write-off, because write-off is in the books. It's not cash that the company is losing today. So I'm not seriously, worried about that. Although yes, from a point of view of books, it is not good. But if I'm looking to the future, I mean, it is not going to change or alter my position in the industry. It is not changing my, profit margin. It is not. In fact, it is only going to improve my return ratios as the balance sheet size shrinks, because there was inefficiency in the capital allocation and the working capital management and everything that we know under the old management.
And yet this company has been investigating for the last 6 months or 5 months 2 items that they're not able to identify or explain, and have delayed the announcement of earnings.
There are more than 2. It's not just
well, 2 that they've publicly informed us about, so I can't speculate beyond that. Are you not worried that this is, who knows what the numbers will throw up at the end of the day? Is this a good time to stay in the stock, even if you think this is a long-term bet?
Very much, I think, because I am only looking at it this way, that even in the downturn of the industry, as Vishal pointed out, the premium segment has been growing at 20-25%, and that is where Diageo is focusing. And now that Diageo is having a controlling stake in the company, which earlier was not expected will go beyond that 50%. So it is in a position to introduce new products and leverage the distribution network for which it bought United Spirits.
Okay, so the stock is at 2,400. Where do you expect it to go, Jigar?
My target price is 3,000. It is unchanged. I'm maintaining that.
Vishal?
I don't think so that over the next 15 to 18 months also the stock will breach the 2,700 mark.
Okay, so
just to add, there's a change in business model which is happening at USL. The second thing is today every fund manager is trying to see whether he should keep USL in his portfolio for at least for the next 3 to 6 months, because come next week it will be going off the derivatives list, and within next 15-20 days it will be into a trade to trade, so they won't be able to trade much into it. So liquidity will dry up in USL for that. So they will be short-term pressure on USL.
So clearly, Vishal says he will sell in any case, and Jigar will possibly look at that as an opportunity to buy the share.
All right, gentlemen, stay with us. We're going to talk about more stocks in just a bit.